So the big question is this: how do investors like us who trade options and manage our own money generate income regardless of where the stock market goes, and do it all in a way that lets us make time for the people and things we love, and yet still build wealth and remain profitable? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. I'm your host, Kirk Duplessis, and you're listening to The Daily Call from Option Alpha. Hey everyone, welcome back. And on today's Daily Call, we're going to talk about how long should you learn before trading options? Or I guess really, how long should you prepare, study, do any paper trading, any of that type of stuff before you really start getting into options trading? And I think this is obviously a little bit subjective to how you learn. Some people just generally first to start off, like learn very quickly, right? Like they, grasp concepts very easily. They can hear things one or two times and totally understand it. And it's like cemented in their brain. And then other people, obviously, you just need a little bit more time. And that's just a different way of learning, right? So here's my suggestion though. My suggestion is if you've never traded options before, have no clue, I definitely suggest you spend, a good couple of weeks or months, depending on, how quickly you learn, just trying to understand the terminology and hear the framework and hear people talk about it, see people, making trades, just trying to kind of get your feet wet in the ecosystem. And it's like, I guess, immersion in a foreign country where you're trying to learn the language. You're just kind of like walking around and listening and watching to what people are doing, right? You may not be participating just yet, but you're trying to just immerse yourself in that, like state of mind or that framework or that, like ecosystem, basically. I do think that paper trading has its place as far as teaching the mechanics of how platforms work and how markets react and how pricing moves. However, what I think you should do if you do start paper trading early is I think you should use it for what it's designed to be. And that is basically it's designed to be practice. So to use like a sports analogy or even like music, when you play music, you probably practice 15 hours for potentially a show or recital that you do that maybe lasts an hour, right? So there's a lot of preparation, a lot of practice of playing the song over and over and over and over again, right? Or bits and pieces of a song over and over again to actually just play it one time, right? When it actually comes to, the stage, the show, whatever you want to do. And so I think that same type of methodology could be used in options trading, and that's how people should use it. People use paper trading like it's the real deal. And while I understand why people do that, I, to some degree, disagree with that because that's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be something you practice over and over and over again. So here's what I would do with paper trading, just to use more of a concrete example. If you were trying to learn how to do an iron condor strategy, where you're selling options, credit spreads on both sides to create a neutral, risk-defined strategy, I would make an iron condor trade like 30 times in one day for a week. Literally, I would try to go out and just mechanically make the trade over and over and over and over again, as many times as I could that day. The next day, then, I would close all 30 trades. And it's not to teach you how to day trade. I'm not trying to teach you how to day trade. You're just trying to learn the mechanics to start, right? Like, what do you do, right? It's, again, like playing an instrument. Like, where do you put your fingers, right? Like, forget about how good the sound is coming out right now. You just need to first learn like where to put your fingers and how to hold it and what to do, right? And that takes a little bit of time. So that's how you should apply your learning to options trading as well, is you should try to learn the mechanics first, then try to perfect the sound, perfect the trade. Now that you know the mechanics, now you can start digging in deeper into finding great pricing and becoming neutral in your balance in your portfolio, right? Getting a good diversity of trades, right? All that stuff comes later after you just learn how to freaking make a trade, how to actually select strike prices and see how that whole process works. So you should use paper trading like riding a bike and training wheels and like really kind of wear those things out, right? Like I know like my dad used to say, when I was learning how to ride a bike, he used to say like I would blow through training wheels until I just like figured out that, the wheels, like training wheels fell off and I was just riding because I rode so much as a kid with those training wheels. And initially I wore those wheels out. And that's what you should do with paper trading is you should use the system for what it's really designed to be. And that is to take a lot of shots, to make a lot of trades, to screw up for sure and learn how the mechanics work so that when you get to the live trading eventually, that you can actually make one or two really good trades, right? And, like music, you practice for 15 hours to play 1 hour, a 1 hour live show or 1 hour live recital, right? And you want that to be really good, but you can't just practice by doing 1 hour of paper trading, right? One paper trade does not equate to a really good live trade later on. Okay. So hopefully I kind of drove home that point. So how long should you learn? I mean, look, I think you should take things in stages or steps, really. You should learn concepts. And that's the way we've built Option Alpha, is around this whole conceptual learning process, that you should learn concepts deeply and then move on to the next concept. And there's cross pollination, if you will, of one concept to another. And I think that's the best way to learn. So I suggest you, like, for example, learn all about options basics, like learn about just the basic terminology first, then learn about the basic strategies, then learn about option selling strategies, option buying strategies, option neutral, directional neutral strategies, then learn about technical analysis, then learn about risk management, then learn about earnings trades, right? These conceptual category based learning. That, I think, is the best way to go. Ultimately, I think you could probably start trading in a couple months and start small with some credit spreads, like we talked about in one of the previous daily calls. Start with some credit spreads where you have very little risk, right? Most credit spreads you can build out have, maybe $60, $70 of total risk. So I think it's worth it, after you've done a lot of paper trading and you've actually learn some concepts, to start putting money in place. And it doesn't mean that you're going to win right away, because you may not, right? Probably 70% chance you will, right? If you trade the way we do. But it's getting you active in, again, that ecosystem and the community. And so, to one more time, just kind of relate it to an analogy of like learning a language or being immersed in a new country. When you go to a new country and after you've walked around a little bit, you kind of get, your feel for the people, you hear, you listen, you watch. You don't just start with a full-blown conversation with somebody if you're learning a language. You start small talk, right? Hi, hello, welcome, thank you, please. All of those very basic elements, and that's what you should do with trading. Start with very small trades and just do them one by one until you start building your trading vocabulary, if you will, to keep that analogy rolling. But you just start building that out over time, right? So start with one credit spread trade, then start doing two at a time, right? Then a week or two later, you feel more comfortable. Okay, now do another type of trade, right? And start building it from there. So hopefully this really helps out. I know this is a huge topic that people have a lot of questions on. So, but I hope this daily call really helped you. If it did, let me know, share us online, give us a review and rating. And until next time, happy trading. Thanks for joining us on the Daily Call. Be sure to subscribe right now for more daily options trading ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you learn how to play smarter, more profitable trades. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and a review so we can continue to bring you the best daily content possible. We'll see you again tomorrow, right here on the Daily Call from OptionAlpha.com.